created you. He chose the chromosomes that was contributed by your mom and dad. And out of the billions of possibilities, He chose the ones that makes you look just like you are. He created you to be a vessel of honor. He created you to be victorious. He created you to live a victorious life. But to be comfortable not living a victorious life, I've got to create excuses. And so there's got to be reasons why I'm no more spiritual than I am. And the reason has got to be there's just something keeping me. There's something limiting me. There's something that's not allowing me to get closer to God. And it's not inside of me. It's got to be outside of me. And it's got to be a devil. It's got to be the enemy that's causing this to happen. It's got to be some outside source that's making it so we can't have revival. We're not going to reach our city. We're not going to be victorious. It's got to be that there's dominions. And so we start talking about stuff that don't even make sense. So I got a question. Is Jesus victorious or is He not? Did He conquer death, hell, and the grave? Does He have the keys to death, hell, and the grave? Did He take back what was stolen? See, Jesus said in John chapter 10, the thief cometh not but for to steal, to kill, and to destroy. But I am come that you might have life and just get by. I've come that you just sit on a Pentecostal pew and complain about why you can't do more than what you're doing. And create reasons why you're not more successful. I've come that you just barely get by. Is that what it says? I am come that they might have what? Life and mediocre, casual, getting by. What kind of life? I have come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. You got any idea what that actually says? What does it mean to have more abundant life? What's an abundant life? What's Jesus telling us? We're going to have a more abundant. I've come to give you life beyond your ability to even comprehend. I have to tell you, at 68 years of age, God's taken me places I had no clue He could take me when I was 20 years of age. I've experienced things through my life that I would have never comprehended God had in store for me and give me the ability to do that I had no clue would ever happen in my life, because He don't want me just to get by. He wants me to have life bigger than anything I can imagine. That word abundant literally translates to exceed any number, need, measure, or rank. Abundant life exceeds your ability to count. He can out-count you. I don't care how big your number is. He says, my number's bigger than yours. I can out-count you. And it doesn't matter what your need is. I'm bigger than your need. my God shall supply all of your needs according to his. My God is going to go past my needs. He's going to go past a number. He's going to outrank any rank I might have. If I'm a 5-star general, he's 6. Whatever my rank is, he outranks me. I will give you life bigger than you can ever imagine. Then why don't you live like it? If all this stuff's here and we all say amen, that's what we want, then how's it getting missed from the word to application? How is it that you and I are not on the level that we want to be on? And it all goes to the fact we think there is an enemy bigger than us. And we are afraid of that enemy. And we're afraid of messing with his territory. Because if we stir him up, he's going to cause us problems. And so we let the enemy intimidate us. And so here's this enemy out there. And we got all kinds of words to tell. He's the enemy of our soul. I mean, just look at how we describe what he does. He's out to get, but to this little church of nobodies. In the 3rd chapter, he says that we are hid with Christ in God. Now, the closest word we have in our language to that Greek word hid is camouflage. When Satan tries to find you, he can't find you because you are hid with Christ. When he starts trying to find where you live, he can't find you because when he looks for you, he sees him. And every time he gets close enough to see you, you are hid. You are covered. See, one of the things that a man did when he married a wife in biblical days is he would take his robe. When that day happened and the marriage was over, he would open his robe up, and it was large, and he would put it around her and she would disappear. That was a sign that he was going to hide her so she would never be destroyed. So to this little church of nobodies, he says, I'm going to hide you. Satan will never be able to find you. When he starts looking for you, he's going to find me. And he don't want to mess with me because he knows I already took him down. I took his keys. I got his kingdom that he took from man in a garden. I took it back from him, and he no longer has the kingdom that he conquered from or took from Adam as a result of sin. So his desire was to steal. So what did he steal? He stole your kingdom. What did he destroy? Your relationship with God. What did he kill? The ability to live forever. Jesus said, I've come, I'm going to give you life more than you can even comprehend. I'll give you life greater than your mind can even fathom or understand. I don't want you just to have a mediocre life. I want your life to be so exceeding that everybody around you wants to know, what in the world have you got into? Because you're living above the rest of us. Your neighbors ought to say to you on a regular basis, you know, would you just tone your life down a little bit? Because you're making it tough for the rest of us to live. We've never seen anybody live life like you live it. Now, in Pentecost 50 years or so ago, 70 years ago, we had these things called testimony services. And people would stand in service and someone would ask, anybody have a testimony? And people would jump their feet and they'd testify about what God had done in their lives, about the victories that had taken place, of people have been healed, all kinds of miracles that had taken place. On the pulpit of the church I attended, on the platform was a glass jar. And inside of that glass jar was formaldehyde and a cancer bigger than a baseball. It had been on the side of the head of a 6-year-old child. And they had laid hands on that child and prayed for that child. Nothing happened immediately, but 2 days later, she's walking through her house and it fell off, roots and all. It turned loose and fell off the side of her face, and they put it in a jar and put formaldehyde in it and preserved it, and that sat on the pulpit to remind us that God, no matter what man says, God's got the last answer. Doesn't matter what light says, God says, no, it don't work that way. And God healed that little child of cancer. It had grown through the bone and wrapped nerves or tentacles around her brain, and all of it turned loose and fell out. Didn't require 1 ounce of surgery, didn't require any kind of chemo. It just fell off, and the doctors took the skin and pulled it back together and sewed it together, and she was healed. Why? Because he said, I'm going to give you everything you need. I'm not going to just let you get by. I'm going to give you all the resources that you need. And if you'll get the unforgiveness out of the way, and you'll forgive people and not have these things binding us like I spoke about this morning, then you become equipped to do anything you could ever possibly imagine for God. Remember what I said your prayer ought to be? Anybody remember that? So y'all don't listen very well. What did I say? I said that you ought to get up every morning and pray, God, what part of the devil's territory would you like rearranged today? But that terrified you so bad you wouldn't even remember it. So you're willingly ignorant. You don't even want to remember that one, because that might mess stuff up. If I recognize and understand that he gave me every resource I need to be victorious, then you know, if I start talking about devils and what he gave me the ability to do, then we might stir something up that we can't handle. The weakest child of God has the ability to control and dominate every evil spirit that exists. They are now at our mercy. We are not at their mercy. They don't have control over you, because to that little church in the first chapter he says that we have been delivered from the power of darkness. That word delivered means to free someone held hostage at spear point. I've taken you from the authority and the power of darkness, but I didn't just take you out of darkness. What I did was I translated you into the kingdom of his dear son. And that word translate comes from the Roman Empire. It's what a Roman general did to a nation